Welcome to my modded Skyrim. She hasn't been overdone. Instead, Skyrim AE has been lovingly baked to perfection, with all of my favorite flavors. A deep thank you to all of the mod authors out there. Without you, Skyrim wouldn't be the wonder that she is today. This mod list has a deep sense of familiarity and comfort, offset by the aromas of ever-present danger and new adventures to be had. I used every tool at my disposal to keep this mod list as simple as possible. I cut out all of the fluff, but I baked so much goodness within those crusts. It's oozing with everything I love, and it shows. Skyrim tastes like vanilla. A personal Skyrim AE mod list by Dread and Trent. Skyrim. Storytelling done my way. Her name is Anne, short for Annalie. Or Annalie Bethelkine was the name she was born with, though she barely remembers it, and she wasn't absolutely sure about that last name, but she thought it was something that sounded something like that. But Anne was the name she held on to, and kept in her thoughts, and whispered to herself in the dark of night. She remembers the faces of her parents, but only as distant, clouded memories, twisted and warped by the life she has lived since she last saw them, at the age of 6 years old? Or maybe 5? A time so far in her past now that she doesn't remember the years or the life she lived with those wispy, half-faded figures. Family is a thing she knows of, but has not known in far too long. She was a Breton from somewhere in High Rock, though she does not remember that place at all. She remembers a journey, though. No, not just a journey, but the journey. The fateful journey that brought her to her new and unasked-for life. At some point in time, for reasons unknown to her, her father and mother and herself had made a journey from High Rock to Skyrim. She couldn't remember any siblings or any other people along on that journey, although she wasn't sure if that meant there were just the three of them or that was just all that her scattered memories could recall. She knew a little bit of the story of their journey, just bits and pieces, but enough that she had fashioned together a story in her own head, one that she told to herself in the darkest of dark times, silently mouthing the words over and over as she told herself the story. She believed, or she imagined, and which it truly was did not especially matter to her anymore. All that really mattered was that she had a story of her own tragic past, rather than having nothing but the daily despair she had had to live with and deal with since. Anyways, she believed that her parents had been part of a wealthy family in High Rock, who, through no fault of their own, had fallen on hard times. They had desperately reached out to a distant family member in the hopes of being afforded a chance to find their feet again. And that family member had agreed to meet them in Skyrim and to take them onwards from there. Now, she didn't know where they would be bound for at that point, but she imagined it might be some exotic locale in either Morrowind or Cyrodiil or somewhere. In the end, because she didn't know the answer to that point, she never bothered to decide in her head where exactly it would be, preferring to leave the golden promise of a better life elsewhere in a place of perpetual unknowing. However, the cruel hands of fate were not done with either little Annalie or her parents. It appears likely that their family member had betrayed them, and when they arrived at the site of their proposed meeting, the only ones waiting for them were a rough crowd of slaver traders. Or more accurately, two crowds of slave traders who argued amongst themselves with what to do with their prey. There were several others there who had already had chains around their wrists and necks when Annalie and her parents were captured. Most of the slaves, including her parents, were claimed by a small group of slavers who marched them away at a good clip. Annalie could hear her mother's wails for quite a bit, distraught at leaving her daughter behind, before the sound suddenly stopped. Now, Annalee's group of slavers were rather well organized. Two of them were hooded and draped in long cloaks that covered them up entirely. Those two gave her the shivers to look at. Before they had placed her in chains, but after her parents had been taken from her, she made an escape, or an attempt, running as fast as she could go. She was pounced on from behind, and when she rolled over, she saw the hood fall back for the one who had caught her. Although the woman she saw was highly beautiful, her appearance still caused Annalee to shriek in fright. This was the first time the little girl had ever seen a vampire. Although she survived the experience, it would not be the last time she interacted with one of these terrifying hooded figures. The two vampires were there to see that these slaves would get safely to their new home. And so the little girl was force-marched to somewhere within Western Morrowind. And there she met her new master, a Dunmer of a splinter group of the House Dren. She never did know his name, he was only master to her and the other slaves. And so she started as a simple kitchen helper, fetching things and learning how to be an obedient slave. Days, and some of the nights too, were spent in service to her master and his house. Then she would be led back to the slave pens, chained to a wall on a length of chain, and bade sleep on her bed of straw. And this became the life she would know for a very, very long time. Her jobs changed throughout the years, from kitchen helper to stable girl to chambermaid. But always she was what she was, a slave. It was always made sure that she knew it. Was she treated badly? Well, how would you feel if you were treated as less than human? To live as a lesser person, designed only to serve others better than you, with no other purpose in life. For that little girl lived that life, until she became a slightly bigger girl, then a preteen, and then a young teenager. And at that point, things changed for her. But during all that time, she was a slave, and that was proved to her over and over again. She had no will of her own, no wants or likes or wishes that mattered. Any sign of hesitation or disobedience saw her physically punished. As she grew older, things changed. For the better? Well, she was treated a little better, dressed in more than mere rags and given an actual bed in her own room to sleep in. But she was still very much a slave. And it was at this point that her master brought an older woman, also a slave, in to teach her. Specifically, to teach her the ways of prostitution. Annalee took to these ways because she had no choice. Being a prostitute for her master was much more than just being his enslaved concubine. He was his to use or to give to others to use. As she learned later by listening carefully to what was said in her presence, her master rented her out for the night to those who would pay his price. Some nights, the teenage girl was with her master, pleasuring him like her life depended on it. And it did. Some nights, her master would send her a member of his house or staff to spend the night with. And there were nights where she was left alone, the nights she definitely learned to treasure. But then there were also the nights where her master made money off of his young slave, and she might be faced with the prospect of gratifying all manner of Tamriel's different races, of all ages, and of both sexes. She learned her craft because it was what kept her alive. Eventually, she learned to throw herself into her work, not because she actually enjoyed it, but she learned that appearing to enjoy it and striving to do her very best pleased her master. And when her master was pleased, he would at times bestow a gift born of his pleasure upon Annalee, which might result in gifts of clothing or jewelry, trips outside to the market, ever accompanied by armed guards, including the two silent-robed vampires that served her master, or maybe she was just given a day all to herself. The years went by, and she became someone of some renown. Her name was known to many men who would pay larger and larger sums to her master for some time with her in her bedchambers. And that name was a name given to her by her master, a name that she hated, but one she became known by nonetheless. Lazlo for hire. That was what her master called her from her teen years on out. Before that, she'd always just been called slave or slave girl, but now that she had a small semblance of importance attached to her, she was gifted with a name. And so everyone now called her Lazlo for hire. And though she hated this name, she gritted her teeth and went with it. But in the deep of the night, when she hid from her terrifying recent memories by retreating into her foggy past, she quietly whispered the name Anne and recited to herself the little story of how she came to be here. The years passed into yet more years. Her body changed, becoming more the shape of a true woman, and her life stayed exactly the same. Even though she knew she was envied by many of the other slaves, she knew herself for what she was. Just another one of them, a trapped soul with no true ownership of her own life. And the years continued to tumble all over themselves. As she aged and got older, her master would take her on trips. He and members of his household ranging far and wide in Morrowind for reasons unknown to her. But for her, the trips took on more opportunity to make her master money, as where he went, when she went with him, she continued to ply her knightly ways for him. She pleasured those he sent to her, and by doing so she pleased him, and this kept her alive and safe. Not beaten, not chained to a wall, not a person with no name. She was a nobody, but at least she was somebody. She hated the name, but she hated being without one worse. Or so she told herself, night after hot and sweaty night. She believed she was probably in her mid-30s when she went on a trip with her master. She was in a tent in their encampment one night, making creaking, thrusting, beastly passion with a drooling old Dunmer, when her master burst into her tent in a fit of immense anger. He grabbed the old Dunmer, still on top of her, still inside of her. With one hand he grabbed her by the back of his neck, and his other hand plunged a short sword deep into his ribs. Blood spilled out in a hot gush, and Lazlo for hire screamed in fear. Her master twisted the blade cruelly, and the old Dunmer shuddered and breathed his last breath. Her master kicked him off of her, and he grabbed her by the wrist, dragging her up and pressing her face close to his. He was horrendously angry, and he demanded to know what she had done. She did not understand, and all she could do was sob in fear. He threw her to the ground, and then he kicked her in the face, rolling her over several times with the ferocity of his kick. She grabbed at her hurting face in shock, as her master pointed down at her and yelled, "If I find out you had any part in this, I will kill you, you slave bitch!" He turned away from her, and then turned back. "Stay right there and do not move," he yelled, and then he rushed out of the tent. She stayed on the ground for quite some time, and then got up and sat on the edge of her bed in the tent. She avoided looking at the corpse on the floor and instead held a clean corner of the silken bed sheets to her aching face and waited silently. She was scared, more scared than normal. She did not know the why of it. It must have been an hour or more until her master came back in. More calm now, but still angry. He sat down on the bed beside her and looked her in the eyes. "Lazlo for hire, did you have any part in this tonight?" he asked her. "Any part in what, master?" she asked him, demurely dropping her gaze. She looked back up at him and he gritted his teeth. "Did this fool," he said, pointing down at the corpse, "did he have you play any part in the attack on my encampment?" he asked her. Startled, she shook her head no. "Master, there was an attack? I did not know. Were you hurt?" He gazed at her for a bit, then nodded to himself and looked away. "I am fine," he told her. "But he said, pointing again at the corpse, "he and all of his men are now dead. They killed one of my special guards. One of my special guards, Lazlo for hire," he said, his voice rising in anger again. Shook his head as if to clear his thoughts. "All right, I believe you. Now get dressed and come to the door of the tent. You and I and a few others are leaving right now, tonight. We are heading home, and it's a long trip. We are quite a ways from home. Too far away from my own estate for real safety. All the way out here close to the border of that accursed Skyrim. And I must hasten home to prepare my revenge for this uncalled-for attack on my house. With that, he got up and left her in the tent. She got dressed quickly, taking in all that she had heard. She took a few precious moments to use the wash basin and clean her bruised face, as well as the blood from the old Dunmer that was stickily cloying on her. There wasn't much time to do more, but she used a precious few moments to make a hasty plan, one she had never thought of before this moment. And before she went to the door flap of her tent, she found the small, slim dagger that the old Dunmer had within the pockets of his clothing that he had left folded on the floor by the foot of her bed. She tucked it away in the folds of her dress, and with that, she was ready to leave. Her master hurried her to the back of a covered wagon. She barely had a chance to see the scene of turmoil and carnage by the flickering light of the campfire, before being whisked into the wagon, sitting inside with 2 other slaves and several guards. Her master was to ride up front with the man guiding the horses. Several guards would accompany them on horseback as well. This was a quick flight away from danger, and not at all like how they normally traveled. It was to be a long trip back. Even moving as quickly as they could, it would take them a week to get back home. Anne spent the next several hours silently planning. They pushed the horses and wagon until a few hours past daylight, then stopped to make camp, quickly setting up small tents so they could all get some sleep. It was at this point that she noticed one of her master's 2 hooded guards stride up to speak to her master, who in turn put his hand on their shoulder for a moment as they spoke. She was too far away to hear anything, but it was an oddly familiar way to speak to a guard. It was then that she put 2 and 2 together, realizing that one of her master's vampire guards had been killed this very night, leaving him with only the one. They rested in the tents for a mere 5 hours, then they saddled up and went on, getting underway at about noon. Anne was served a simple meal of meats and cheeses on the bench of the wagon, and ate it hungrily, realizing it might be the last thing she ate for a while. They didn't push as far this day, stopping to make camp before it got dark in a small clearing by a stream. They got a roaring fire going, and they cooked some fish that one of the guards caught, and then they turned in for the night. Several hours later, Anne crawled silently out of her bedroll, and she stayed very low, belly crawling out of the clearing and into the woods, and then slowly getting up and tiptoeing across the little stream and heading in the general direction of Skyrim. She hoped to put enough distance between herself and her master before anyone realized that she had run off, so he would leave her alone and go on without her. She was less than an hour into her little journey when the countryside around her went eerily silent. She wondered why all of the night sounds had disappeared. She stopped, finger of fear strolling its way down her spine. And then she was hit from behind and knocked flying. She rolled around and around with her attacker. They were immensely strong, and all she had going for her was her fear, her natural wiriness, and the fact that she was not a fighter, and therefore nothing she did or tried was what was expected. But it was not very long before she was on her back with her attacker kneeling over her. And as she reached up a hand blindly and grabbed at cloth, she pushed back a thick hood just as a beam of moonlight shone down, and she saw the hissing face of the same female vampire that had haunted her dreams since she was a young child. And without thinking, she reached into her skirt with her other hand, grabbed the small silver blade hidden there, and plunged it deep into the throat of that abomination. To say that she killed and defeated that ancient vampire would be a gross misrepresentation of the facts. Even badly wounded, that vampire could have easily killed her, if not for the fact that Anne was fighting for not only her life, but for her very freedom, her one and only chance at freedom. That and that small silver blade were the only things that saved her this night. As they grappled some more, Anne managed to stab the vampire lady several more times, until at last the vampire rolled off her and backed away at a crouch in obvious pain. "Stay away from me!" cried Anne in a trembling voice, waving that blade before her as she lay on her back, propped up on one elbow, still too tired from her fight to even attempt to stand up. "You are dead," said the ancient creature to her, croaking around the blood still leaking from its neck. I will kill you, I will. Somehow," railed off Anne, still waving the blade blindly before her. "You misunderstand, Lazlo for hire. the vampire to her, never taking its eyes off of her. There has been enough death. We'll tell our master that you died, escaping. The creature resumed backing up, beginning to slowly vanish into the shadows of the underbrush. Lazlo for hire no more, it seems, came the voice from out of the darkness, and then nothing. She lay on the ground, listening and regaining a little strength for some time before lurching to her feet and continuing her flight to the west, moving much more slowly now, utterly exhausted, still under cover of darkness. Sometime before the sun came up, Anne fell down a steep embankment. Luckily, she was relatively unhurt, but she did feel regret about losing the dagger in her fall. Now fearful of facing her adversary without its protection, she doubled her pace for a while. It took Anne several more days to make it to Skyrim. Her clothes were ripped and torn, and she had to makeshift her attire, tearing off loose ends and trailing threads and tucking and tying things as best as she could to keep them on her. The escaped slave only ate a few berries and drank whatever water she could come across, and it was just enough to keep her moving forward. And eventually she came to realize that for the first time in a very long time, Anne was free. The woman whispered her name to herself several times, then cleared her throat, and said it louder, with authority. My name is Anne. She grinned for a moment, and then she burst into a flood of happy tears that left her blinded for several minutes. She did not care. When her tears finally ended, she smiled again, mentally patted herself on the back, and stumbled onward with a slightly renewed vitality. Hello, and welcome to Lazlo for Hire No More. This is Anne. She's come down out of the mountains, Morrowind, across the border. She ended up somewhere over here. It is cold. It is getting to be nighttime. Where she could rest, but oh my goodness, there's all kinds of things in here. Well, I'm going to spoil our gameplay a little bit. I'm going to ignore everything that's in here, except for the hat and the fur backpack. Could not be that kind of stuff in a crate here. Alright. She's going to grab this stuff. Is there something in the sack here? Nope. Empty. Not sure where she is or what she's at. This looks very strange to her. Put the hat on. But she looks freaking horrible. But does it add any warmth to her? It does, so she's putting it on. Oh my, there's... We'll take that. She can't carry everything. She's not very strong and she's very cold. Oops. Not even sure what I did there. That's not what I wanted to do at all. No, that's a big weapon. She figures maybe these big weapons are worth something. She could do something with them. She can get them somewhere. It carefully searches the burnt corpse. There's several of them. What happened to these people here, and why? Oh, who's this? Oh, a dagger. I could use that. And a spell book. Take a few of these things because we can sell them. If we can find a place to sell them at. Gotta be some kind of place around here, a town or something. Well, probably not right here with all these dead people. Hope she's not walking into some sort of really major trouble.
Oh, there's a lot of corpses here. Wow. Even if she wanted to search them all, she doesn't think she could. What is this place? Food. I'll gladly take and eat that. Goblet. Another goblet. What happens at this place? Like poisons. People die willingly? Alright, it's time to get away from this weird place. This is very, very strange. Yes, everybody, this is Anne. Anne, warm up here. How are we doing? We're exhausted. We're not overly cold yet, so that's good. Now, I don't know if we're able to survive this place, sleeping without a fire, and staying the night, but she is so tired out. She has been eating berries and things that she could find for a long time. We'll save that farm bread for the morning. If she makes it to morning. But for now, she's going to have to hope this bedroll is warm enough to would help her survive the night. Let's hope morning finds things a little bit better. Maybe in the daylight she can find her way to a town or something. Hunger is increasing. Yes, I bet it is. Sore from sleeping on the ground and cold. How cold? Pretty cold. Okay. It's time to get moving. Time to get moving. She'll keep the hat on for now because it helps warm her a little bit. That's all she's got. Knows what skooma is. She's definitely not partaking in that. Be smart. Hurry up and eat there, Anne. Come on. Her once lovely dress is torn to shreds. Yeah. The hat she's wearing looks like it was made of an old sack. It smells disgusting. Just wants to get off her head, but she realizes it helps keeps the heat in a little bit. Kind of cold that she's experiencing here onto these mountains. She needs that. My. Animals don't even survive the cold up here. It's time for her to get out of here. She's heading downwards, which is good. Okay, she needs to stop picking flowers and get moving. Oh no. Oh, this poor person. And just to get the lockpick and the earring out, but everything else is... Oh, wait. Is the hat better than what she's got? It might be. The clothes are just frozen to the body, so... Her hat, 18 warmth. This one looks a little nicer, so... There you go. And should throw the backpack on, I guess, too. What a terrible place this is. Oh no, is that a wolf? That person outside of that hut there, or whatever, dude, does not look friendly. Oh, there's a city in the distance. So we just find a way to get to it. Feet are freezing. Keep moving for what little warmth that gives her. Also getting very thirsty. She doesn't have anything to drink. She does have an empty wine bottle she found, I believe, so... Wonders if she could... Oh, there is water. She could almost sense it. Also, very dangerous wildlife. Okay. Stay away from that. People seem to be growing this strange plant and some wheat. They recognize as that. Eggs. Those eggs right away. Oh, they're ingredients, so I was just gonna eat them anyways. Someone here take care of this place that she could take from or anything? No? Nobody here? Maybe it's too early in the daytime? Close the barn door. Get down to the water now. Oh, that scared her. Just a goat. Hoping she could fill up the empty bottle. Doesn't look that way, though. Oh, only get to fill a water skin or something, eh? Ow. Oh, warmth. Warmth. Beautiful warmth. Anyone around? Is she going to get in trouble for stealing? If she's starving to death. Surely nobody would mind. little bit warmer now. She's gonna take her ragged hat off there. She didn't have her sandals on either. By the way, though, don't mind me. She's not supposed to have that thing right there, so we're just going to get rid of it. It didn't happen. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, people, hope you're going to enjoy this. Anne is different. Anne has lived all her life as a slave with terrible things done to her. And she does not know a lot about the kindness of people. She certainly doesn't know a lot about how to react around people, how to act and react, proper ways. I mean, she's learned how to pretend and different things to survive, but he's also always been taken care of because he belonged to somebody. And now that she's free of that, not completely sure just what to do. Oh yeah, she's freezing cold. Two bottles. Bunch of nothing. Oh, fire. Chance to stop here and warm up. Been tough. Now we are using the Sunhell mod on this, so we do have survival needs. We do need to eat and drink. We do need to stay warm. We need to, you know, not overexert ourselves, get enough sleep, that kind of thing. Those are all very important things. What do we have for gold? We picked up 157 gold off those burnt bodies. Wow. I think we got a couple gold off the dead lady too, but wow. Tomatoes to eat. I guess we're going into town. Big Stone City. Oh, hello.
Hmm?
Can you tell me about the city?
It's an old city, I can tell you that. The Palace of the Kings is ancient. It's not the friendliest place for outsiders. The Dark Elves were all forced to live in a slum called the Grey Quarter.
Oh.
The Argonians can't even live inside the walls. They're
Heard of
all
this
stuck
place.
out on the docks. Still, Candlehearth Hall's got decent food and cheap bunks. And you could do worse.
Thank you.
Good day.
So this is Windhelm. She has heard about this before. A lot of the Dark Elves from Morrowind that end up coming here. That makes her a little bit worried since she comes from Morrowind where she was a slave and fairly well known. It may do her while she's here to stay more hidden. Anything she can do to hide who she is probably best in case some of them know of her. Wonder what she's doing here without her master. Be nice to get some warmer clothes, but she's not sure how much she's going to be able to buy. Might need to purchase a residence here in the city as well. Maybe there's things in the city she can do to make some more money.
You eat our food, you pollute our city with your stink, and you refuse to help the Stormcloaks.
But we haven't taken a side. Because it's not our fight.
Hey, maybe the reason these Greyskins don't help in the war is
Anyway, just let me check this for a moment. I have a feeling Sunhelm has done this again, that it does quite often. I don't play Sunhelm with a carry weight penalty.
Imperial
Survival mods are already hard enough. That's better.
Imperial spies? You can't be serious.
Why?
Maybe we'll pay you a visit tonight. We got ways of finding out what you really are.
This. Oh. Been a long time since she chopped wood. She did as a young girl.
Lucky for you, that
Or
was
a
just
master
sitting
at
there for the
times, but
taking.
she believes she remembers how to do it. Maybe she can sell this wood to someone here in town. People will buy chopped firewood often. That might allow her to get in good with one of the citizens. She chopped more, but her arms hurt already. She doesn't have a lot of strength, really. Oh, this has got various jobs there. A lot of them, most of them are outside of the town, though. It's pretty cold out there. What sort of things could she make here? She could make an empty water skin with leather strips and leather. That would be a good thing to have. Should be warming up. Just that skirt just going all crazy.
Don't
Hello?
take this the wrong way.
Everyone says Yorland Greymane is the best smith in Skyrim.
Yes.
I plan to change a few minds.
What do you have for
about
sale?
that. Looking to protect yourself or deal some damage?
Oh. Boy, that's taken a big chunk out of our gold, but I think we need to do that.
Whether it's armor you need or a new blade, come see me.
Empty water skin. We do 2 of them. Now we can fill those up somewhere. That's great. A lot more we can make here. Nope. Those will be very, very handy, though. They'll just help keep us alive. Guards here. I better be careful. Hello?
I don't haggle. If you want a lower price, look elsewhere.
Oh. And, what have you got for sale?
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
We will buy the firewood. Excellent. Every little bit of gold we can get is going to help us We're not used to being on our own here. Tell you all that. Know what it does. Hopefully nothing I wanted to do. Oh my, we got all these things we got so much of they don't buy. Oh.
Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
Let's see what she's got. Oh. I mean, do we think we could make it out there on our own? Lockpicks are handy. She's semi-skilled in that. Not skilled enough to ever run away from a master until lately, but she's semi-skilled in lockpicking. Alright, we'll grab that. Got an apple. Ah. Cloak might be a good idea too. Wood. Grab one of those. We should
Thank
probably
you for
see
your
about
custom.
selling those weapons we picked up too.
Well, if it isn't the lonely captain.
Oh, hello there, Miranda. And please, I wouldn't quite say that. Just solitary is all.
Don't worry, you old bear. I'm not going to jump your bones as if my name ended in Giordano. Not my name anyway.
Need some metal hammer.
Pick up yourself.
The finest weapons and armor.
For those extra deliveries.
Quite the warmth rating to it, actually. Hold on. Oh, she's got that. Okay, never mind.
If you
We'll
meet
spell
anyone
that
in your
out, but-
travels who needs more, everyone's take a look.
No, Niranya. I haven't thought about it. And I suggest you stop asking.
We've got a little bit
Whether
of
it's
stuff
armor
left.
you need or a new blade, come see me.
Oh,
For now, if she wants a weapon, that might be it. Something unexpected.
listen up a little, captain. The sort
Always-
of wares and tools you
Always
just
escape
can't
down there and
afford.
hide out
Come
if she
and
gets
I
see.
caught
lost
by
my
anybody.
twin sister a while back.
Noticed by anybody.
Have you ever lost anyone close?
Yes.
Oh, you grow all these things yourself?
Everything you see is grown at my family's own Hollyfrost farm, fresh and filling. I also do a little herb growing. The court wizard Woundfirth pays us to plant a little nightshade. Who knows what he uses it for? Hey, could you deliver this bottle of nightshade extract to Woundfirth?
Guess I can find my way to the palace. Woundthird? Sure, I'll make sure he gets it. What have you got for sale?
Take a look.
You won't buy our stuff at all. You will buy that, though. That helps.
Good day.
Okay, so we've got a quest.
Yeah.
We have over here. Oh, that lady's journal. My name is Aranya, Imperial Historian. My research on ancient artifacts has led me across the sands of Elsewhere and the forests of Valewood. Now it has led me to the inhospitable north of Skyrim. My quarry is that of Goldbrand, a golden katana said to have been forged by dragons and embodies the power of the Daedric prince Boethia. The blade has passed through many hands, most recently those of Emperor Titus Mede II. Wow. He was rumored to have possessed it during the Battle of the Red Ring. After the battle, Mede II, or one of his agents, had it returned to the tomb of the one said to have originally possessed the blade, Sivdur, an ancient Nord warrior who fought in defense of dragons. There in Sivdur's respite is where Goldbrand is said to reside. Mede II is said to have felt that he lacked the right to claim the blade, that it should return to the one who it was first entrusted to. No direct record of the location of Sivdur's respite exists in the Imperial archives. Interesting, I guess.
I've got
You
my
need
eye on
anything, come see me.
What have you got for sale?
trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
A wide range of assorted goods, the best selection in Windhelm.
Bread's a little expensive, but we'll take it.
Be sure to
Is
stop
that new
by
batch of
Sadri's
tomatoes
used
ready
wares
for
in the
sale
Great
yet,
Court.
However?
You
I
know,
am
I'm
very
not sure.
thirsty.
My husband's been tending to the
Well, we do have some meat here, so let's partake of that and half a
So
cabbage
I'll
with
have
it.
to ask him. Just promise me when you get some more in, I'll have the first crack at them.
What is it Ulfric's always saying? On my honor as a Nord, I swear it.
A white vial.
I have a little.
I'll be fine.
Master, you're far too old for this sort
Sound
of journey.
fine.
We don't know what's inside.
I can...
What have you got for sale there, sir?
Ah,
You okay?
So you're an alchemist.
Are you all right? Sell some of these things to him.
Hope to see you again soon.
Okay, sure. Hey, we need to go find the palace, and I think we saw that when we first came in the gate. That looks like it up there. Oh, hello, dear. Able to get water from this. Yeah.
A few septims for my supper is all I
So Sunhelm works with some things and not with others as far as, water stuff goes. Stand in water, yeah, that's the problem. My. Well, if the Dark Elves aren't treated well here, there's probably not going to be any of them here, so... Going into a palace is look as good as we can, I guess. Wuthgerd. For Wuthgerd. Pretty hard when our clothes are all torn to shreds to look good.
Won't give us a straight answer.
He's a true Nord. He'll come around.
Don't be so sure of that. We've intercepted couriers from Solitude. The Empire's putting a great deal of pressure on Whiterun.
And what would you have me do?
If he's not with us, he's against us.
He knows that. They all know that.
How long are you going to wait?
You think I need to send Bolgraf a stronger message?
Spent my life serving
By
Talos.
message you mean
Don't plan
shoving
to
a
stop
sword
now,
through
no
his
matter
gullet.
what the Empire says.
Taking his city and leaving him in disgrace would make a more powerful
Worry
state.
about me. I'll be fine.
So we're
Ever
ready to
Wuthgerd.
start this war in earnest.
This way you say? Thank you.
Soon.
I still see.
Even in rags, Anne knows that she has no trouble charming men. Perhaps she can use her feminine wiles on Wuthgerd. Get some information or gold out of him or something. Who knows? This place is delightful. Hello, are you Wuthgerd?
Whatever you've heard I can do is probably true.
I have a delivery from Halevi?
Ah, yes, the extract. Good. Poisonous, of course, but it has its uses. I suppose you want something for your trouble? Here.
Well, thank you. What have you have for sale?
So, you wish to master the arcane arts?
Right. Have any food or anything? Oh, she doesn't have a necklace anymore. That won't match her earrings, though. I mean, even though Anne is on her own, having to survive on her own, she is very tempted by fine things. She always has been.
Strength and steel are well and good, but
Lovely place you have here.
is the true power.
Oh,
in
hands
this
off,
world.
please, sir. Hands off. You mind if I use this alchemy bench? I'm not very experienced. Maybe you could help me with it? No? Is it too busy? Okay. I'll just help myself then. It's so old he doesn't like women anymore, or maybe he never did like women. Always a possibility, Anne. He is watching me now. Maybe because I'm touching his stuff, though. Well, I think I might have made something. Really sure. Just kind of mix things together. Are any of these things any good? You wouldn't be interested in buying these potions, would you? I thumb through your book for a moment. Fine. Not enough pictures.
Whatever you've heard, spells and incantations. For those with the talent to cast them.
Oh, you don't buy them. Oh. You make potions, but you don't buy potions.
Strength and steel are well and good, but
yes?
Magic is the true power in this world.
Anne thinks to herself she was never allowed to be around magic herself. Her master wouldn't allow it. I heard people muttering that it was because she was a Breton, and she might have some kind of natural affinity for it, but... Oh... Hey, we're gonna need to get out of here. The book. I think she could sell off to somebody. Way down.
And let them die with their false kings.
We've been soldiers
No
a
thirsty.
long time. We know the price of freedom. But people are still...
Since she's not able to fill her water skins at the well, Sunhelm, and she can't drink from the well or anything else, well, she's gonna need to...
Don't take this the wrong way, but you look a little sickly.
What? We have ataxia. Oh. That's not good. We're going to see somebody about that. First, to get some water, though. Just scoot down to the river and get some free water. Fill up the water skins we made. Water skins? Yes, we made 2 of them. Got a bottle of water, 2 full water skins, and quenched our thirst. Nice. Okay, back up this way. Alright, we're a little bit tired, a little bit thirsty, but overall decent. Dang it. She was out and about in the city, forgot about her hood already. Oh boy. As long as she's moving and keeps her head down, she'll be fine. Hopefully. And the question is, what will Anne do now? If you want to find out, you're going to have to come back for more adventures. Why is her eyes closed? Eyes are closed. Something's gimping out here. Now she's opening. Okay. You have to come back here for more adventures of Anne here on Lazlo for Hire No More. You know what that means if you listen to our backstory at the beginning. And I hope you'll enjoy this character. She's going to go through struggles, but she is going to try to overcome and be a free person here in Skyrim. So thank you for tuning in. This is Mist-Valley-Modz. My name is Dread. We are playing on my own personally curated brand new Skyrim AE mod list. Skyrim tastes like vanilla. And hope you'll check out my other channels on YouTube, my other YouTube channels, my Discord. Join up if you want. I post all my videos there. Everybody have yourselves a great day and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.